This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's not bad. I like it.
I could execute a little bit better, but with more practice, that could happen.
Great. It's tough.
For those who are just listening to us, I just did the La Piedra, the rock symbol. But what a huge start from him and a massive game for the Mariners. They win the series. They win the game 2-0 over the KC Royals. Just a much-needed win for your Seattle Mariners. I think this more than makes up for last night's loss. Especially like if you were to tell me you win 2 out of these 3 games heading into Houston, I would sign up for that every single day of the week. I realized that last night's was pretty frustrating, but wow, just you needed this win going into Houston. And I know they said it on the broadcast that you now have a share for first place. You're in first place because you own right now the tiebreaker over the Houston Astros. So theoretically, you have 1 game ahead of them due to the tiebreaker being in the Mariners' favor. So, massive win. And it starts with the start with Luis Castillo. The offense wasn't great, but you didn't need it a ton today because of how good the pitching was. So, Chris Crawford, I ask you, what was your initial reaction to this game?
Just had to have it. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny, too, because it's amazing what, just one loss can do. One loss. I talked about it at the very beginning in my short little thing that, you can't win every game. You're not going to win every single game that you play. It would be kind of boring if you did. But the mood changed, right? The mood changed from this team can't lose to, oh boy, they better win tomorrow. And they did, thanks in large part to La Piedra, who was just fantastic today. The bullpen was awesome. And we'll talk about it, but my unsung hero is pretty easy for this one. It may not be the guy you're thinking of, but man, what a huge win. You are now back in controlling your own destiny time, and it sets up, I cannot remember a bigger series than this one coming up. I really can't. Non-playoff edition, this just might be the biggest series in Seattle Mariner history.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you, especially recently, at least in the last 20 years, let's say 25 years, you could say. I think this is a huge series for the Seattle Mariners, but let's react to this one first. This is a big win for me. I think this is one of the unsung wins of the season. We do unsung heroes and stuff. This is an unsung win for me because I think everyone's going to be looking ahead to that Houston series, and rightfully so, as you just pointed out. It's a massive series. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to be kind of looking at last night being like a missed opportunity. You have, I think, officially, it depends on what happens over the weekend. I think you have officially exercised the we can't win on the road demons because this team right now would not have won this game if it was in the previous 2 road trips, if that makes sense, right?
Sure.
I think it was massive to bounce back after last night and kind of be like, obviously we weren't going to win out, but we're still going to, win the majority of our series moving forward. So that was a huge kind of that was one game. We're still who we are at this point, and that's a really good baseball team that's in first place in the AL West. But it starts with the start, Chris Crawford. So let's do that. Let's start with Luis Castillo. How good was he? Did he only get 3 strikeouts?
He only had 3 strikeouts. He only generated 5 swings and misses, and yet he was as good as I've seen him in a while. And that includes, guys, this is now 3 straight excellent starts. And again, your mileage may vary. You may disagree. I thought that the panic over Luis Castillo was way overdone, but it's sure nice to see results that back that up, right? There was so much weak contact today. I believe he retired 14 of the last 15 hitters that he faced. He just had him off balance throughout the game, and you don't have to generate a ton of swings and misses. It's nice if you do. It's easier to be a dominant starter if you're going to generate those strikeouts, if you're going to generate those swings and misses, but you don't have to. You can still have success in this league with plenty of weak contact. And the Kansas City lineup, it's a pesky one. I'm so glad we don't have to play this team ever again. Well, not ever again. They'll probably play in 2026. I have a weird feeling about that. They're pesky. I do not like facing them. No, sir. Heck no at all. And he was excellent. He felt in control of the game. I was a little irked, just a little, that he didn't get a 7th inning. But I totally understand why you went there, especially with the freshness of your bullpen, and your bullpen was outstanding today. Again, yesterday, a little bit of a blip in that again point, but
it was really just one guy. But yeah,
guy, and that guy I trust an awful lot. So it's not. I don't want to go too bonkers here, but Luis Castillo was just phenomenal today, and some people are bringing it up. I think Castillo did enough today, and it's so weird to say. The guy you'd be battling had a 14 strikeout effort in his last start.
Yeah.
But I think right now Castillo's probably that third arm in the rotation. And
close.
And look, Ty and Colby, make sure you tune in for them. They'll have a bunch of talk about this type of stuff. It's because George Kirby can add something in the bullpen that Luis Castillo cannot.
Agreed.
That's my thought process here in a 3-game series. In a 4-game series, you're starting 0-4. That's how the Mariners aren't going to go with 3 games rest for anybody. They're just not going to do that. But in this first wild card series, and it may not be that wild card series because the Cleveland Guardians want to help the Seattle Mariners right now. Appreciate that, guys. Yeah. Right now, I think it's probably Wu, Gilbert, and Castillo.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. There are some matchups, and maybe there's something with home road, but he just did this on the road in Kansas City, so it's not like he's massively better at. I mean, he's better at home. I think every pitcher is in the Mariners rotation. We did that exercise earlier too. It's not just him. It's every Mariners pitcher that's better at T-Mobile Park. Shocking, but it's just one of those, like, maybe you can play around us. Maybe there's a team you face that George Kirby has a better matchup with. I don't know. I just, in terms of confidence, I think I'd go Castillo as well over George Kirby. So like I'm with you there. And I love the way he pitched today. He kind of knew, and it's worth pointing out that the Angels and the Royals are like two polar opposite teams that get kind of similar results offensively. They're not great. They're probably both below average offensive teams. But the Angels are all like literally all or nothing. They're strikeout or home run versus Royals are the pesky contact hitting team. So having 3 strikeouts, I guess only 3 strikeouts versus them, I don't think is a big deal. He knew exactly what he needed to do to get the win today, and that's exactly what he did. Goes 6 innings, only 3 hits, no walks, 3 Ks, just efficiency, dominance, consistency, however you want to put it. Castillo was awesome today.
It was great. And then the bullpen was phenomenal after he leaves too. Bizzardo, looked fully fresh. I would have considered having Bizzardo throw another inning there just because, he only threw the 9 pitches. But, I'm fine with giving Bizzardo rest considering how overworked he was in the middle of this season.
Sure.
Gabe Spire was excellent. And then Andres Munoz, I know he gives up a couple of base runners. That stuff is as good as I've seen Andres Munoz have. And that is a compliment to be sure. The strikeout he had on Bobby Witt Jr. and then Michael Garcia with the most defensive swing I think I've seen all year against the Seattle Mariners. That was nasty. And, again, being honest, when I saw Adam Frazier was up next, the Adam Frazier revenge tour, I was a little bit nervous about. Oh, but he put him to work put him to bed real quick. That was an early night time for Adam Frazier. And man, if you get that version of Mooney over these next 10 games, you are going to be just fine. And you've gotten this version of Mooney for the overwhelming majority of 2025. Yes. There's been some hiccups because it's life. We all have failures, guys. Anders is the only person who's never made a mistake on planet Earth.
Not sure about that.
Pretty sure. Pretty damn sure. I was looking into it and I can't find a mistake. And I searched hard before I agreed to do this show. He was just outstanding in that bullpen. Man, you could argue Matt Brash is the 4th best reliever on the Seattle Mariners right now. And that is much more compliment to those 3 names ahead of him than it is in to Brash.
Yeah, it gets a little overblown last night. I mean,
Sure.
I put out that Matt Brash might be a problem on Twitter. I said might, guys. I said might. I didn't say he's terrible or you need to demote him or anything. But in terms of confidence, I feel, and we're not reacting last night. We're reacting today. So we'll talk about that when it comes up again. But remember in 2023 where both Castillo and Munoz, and I guess a little bit Brash as well, were really, really good for almost the entire season. And then the last month came and they fell apart. It almost feels the opposite this year where they went through that down earlier in July, maybe a little early August. And then they're back. They're totally back up now. And it's that I would way rather have that trajectory than what they had in 2023. That's why I feel so good about Castillo and Munoz at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree. They both are clicking at the exact right moment. And I'll go back to my college basketball conference tournament thing where it kind of feels okay to give up some stuff, right? It's okay. Get the loss out of the way. Give up those runs now so that you don't do it. Just as a guy who roots for Gonzaga, I wish they would have lost in the conference tournament that year. They're really good at basketball, and they're fun to watch too. And Mark Few is just totally normal and has never made media feel creepy whatsoever.
Question for you: would you rather go into the postseason not on a 10 or 11 game winning streak?
Yes, 100%. Really? Yeah, absolutely. The exception to that is I remember the Colorado Rockies. Had that 15 game winning streak and they just dominated. But then they got their ass kicked in the World Series. Yeah, they did. So I would prefer them to not have to carry, I don't want them to win this is so tough. How do I say this the right way? If they have to win the next 9 games, then fine. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you can get away with winning the division going 8-1 or 7-2, I'm pretty okay with that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's not as much of a drop off. I'll put it that way. I will, of course, take a 9-game winning streak to end the season. There's no doubt about it. But I won't be worried if they go 7-2, guys.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So no, there's silver linings to take out of this. And it's just a massive win going into a huge series in Houston. Let's give some love to our sponsors. Then we'll talk about some meh offense today, and then a couple huge moments. Sound good, Chris Crawford?
Sounds great.
Okay. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere, and you get the boost when you need it. And, you feel a little bit weird, in the stomach. I do, at least, when I drink a lot of coffee. It gets a little acidic. You don't get that with 5-hour energy. It's much healthier. You just get that shot of energy without the crash. It's so massive. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today.
Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's their 401k, their properties, or their investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal interface tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Guys, I've done spreadsheets for my finances for my entire life, and I have still a chart that says Chris Crawford's big you-know-what chart of debt, and I still will keep that. But using something like Monarch Money to help get rid of that debt makes all the sense in the world, because all of it is just put into that one spot. All your 401k information, all of your holdings, all of your, your debt, all of the stuff that you know you need to take care of so that you can retire and that you can enjoy your life afterwards. Monarch Money helps do that for you. And you can really enjoy Monarch Money if you use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Welcome back to the Mariners Postcast. Anderson Hurst, Christopher Crawford with you. We, of course, go live after every single Mariner baseball game, and we're reacting to a Mariner win today, 2-0 over the Kansas City Royals to win the series ahead of a massive 3-game series against the Houston Astros. Chris Crawford, let's just get right to the offense. Wasn't great today. I mean, you didn't need it, but it's still like we can be picky here because we've seen this offense have much better days than today.
Oh, yeah, much better days. And even yesterday in the loss, you were a better offense than you were today. I will give credit to Stephen Kolek. He was good today. And the Royals won that trade. I'm telling you right now, Freddie Fermin for Ryan Elgert, who was pitching well for them before the injury, and now Stephen Kolek, who has been really good for them and had some good moments for the Padres, too. He's going to be a nice little mid-rotation starter for them. The Mariners also missed some opportunities today. Really tough games from Randy and Julio today, which was disappointing. The really disappointing thing is after Suarez looked so good yesterday, he was so bad today. Hoping that this is just a, hey, if you go 4 for 4 yesterday with a homer and a couple doubles or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He was really good yesterday. He was really terrible today. But it was everybody. Like, the only guy who I think could say had a great offensive game would be Josh Naylor. He gets on 3 times. One of those, of course, kind of not meaningless, but a 2-out hit in the 9th inning, just a little single. But it still counts. Absolutely still counts. And it's great to see him swinging the bat so much better as of late. But the offense struggled today. You're going to have to hit a lot better than this against the Houston Astros going forward.
Yeah, and I think where you were going with the Geno thing is, hey, he's saving some hits for Houston. It's all right.
There you go. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
And I get it. Like, let's look ahead a little bit. We don't normally do that on this show. We normally react, but I want to look ahead just a little bit because of how massive this series is.
Sure. Real quick, before we do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick.
Yes.
The moment of maybe the entire year is not going to be this moment, but it's really big. The challenge, and my unsung hero is Andy Bissell. Andy Bissell, you absolute madman. And if you're not familiar with who Andy Bissell is, he's the guy who's in charge of challenges for the Seattle Mariners. Holy crap. To challenge that call. I've never seen a positioning challenge call ever. I've never seen it ever, ever, ever. And for him to know that Massey was setting up in the outfield grass, holy crap. And good for Dan for doing it. Good for Dan for saying, hey, we need to challenge this. And it ends up being huge because it gives you that second run. And as good as Munoz is, as good as any closer is, how much more confident are you with a 2-run lead compared to a 1-run lead?
Yes.
How much better do you pitch knowing that you don't have to be perfect? You know, giving up a run would have been okay. It's not the goal, but what a great challenge from Wilson, and shout out to Andy Bissell, because I guarantee you 100,000% Andy Bissell has watched Kansas City Royals games and seen Massey set up in that outfield. And he waited for a time where the guy didn't get a hit and said, nope, challenge it now. We're going to get a free base runner. That was just so freaking significant. And I don't think I would have felt bad if we didn't talk about it a little bit, right?
No, yeah,
that's a massive moment.
Totally agree. And I want to almost unsung moment, the unsung hero you just did. And I think it's actually Dan Wilson pinch running Victor Robles.
Victor Robles, great call. Yeah, great call.
And putting him in motion, because that's what allows the double to happen. The first baseman's coming off the bag, then he has to go back across the line. There's no way he makes that play.
Great call.
Good job by Victor Robles to be aware and not just slide into second, knowing what's going. Because we've seen that multiple times where they go for the steal, even though there's a hit, they slide because it's just that their heads down looking at the base. And all things worked out really, really well for the Mariners there. I've been as critical as anyone of Dan Wilson and just the coaching staff in general, because we don't know what is on whose plate in terms of the coaching staff. They have been really, really good these past couple weeks.
No doubt.
I don't even I have nothing to add because they've been awesome. And I'm not, when I say that I criticize a Dan Wilson decision or maybe the lack of getting up and being ready to play, I leave it open for being incorrect, and I hope I do get proven wrong. That's where we're at right now. I'm not at a point where I'm just like, get rid of Dan Wilson, he's terrible. But it's like, prove me wrong, and that is exactly what has been happening the last couple of weeks.
And I think you do have to give credit to the entire staff too, right?
Yes.
Like the entire staff, and it's not just, hey, the Mariners have won 11 of 12 games, so we should credit the manager now, right? It's the eye test of the decisions looks so much better.
Yes.
This is not a Captain Hindsight thing. This is, I think, Dan Wilson becoming more comfortable with making these decisions. And I also think there's something to, and this is going to sound a little patronizing, but I think there's also something to giving Dan the help that he needs.
Yeah, trusting his staff. Yes.
Trusting his staff, right? Like, this has been so fun to watch, and Dan Wilson absolutely deserves the credit. Yeah. And, there's still 9 games to go. And if the Mariners don't finish this off, I have question marks about who should be the manager of the Seattle Mariners. I will. But right now, he is absolutely the guy for it. And it's not just a case of, if you win, you're good. If you're bad, you're not. It's a case of Dan Wilson adapting. Dan Wilson, and if Dan Wilson keeps managing the way that he has, I don't see any reason why the Seattle Mariners don't win this division, or at the very least are playing in the postseason.
Mariners win this one 2-0. Win the series in Kansas City. Did exactly what you needed to do going into Houston in probably the biggest series in regular season series in at least the last 24 years. I am too nervous. Thankfully, I have a lot going on Sunday, so I won't really be able to just soul in on the game of baseball. So, but it's just a massive series. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. 5:10 first pitch in Houston, Daikin Park. As I believe it's Framber Valdez for the Houston Astros.
I think they changed it up.
They did. Okay.
It is Hunter Brown. I'm going right now and looking because that is definitely
important. It is Hunter Brown versus Brian Wu. Ace v. Ace. Let's go for game 1. This feels like a playoff series already. Honestly, this kind of is the beginning of the playoffs for the Seattle Mariners.
Oh yeah, these are playoff games. These are win and you're in games. These just aren't. They're not officially called playoff games, but these are they're just not postseason. They're playoffs.
Greg, I completely agree with you.
Absolutely massive, massive baseball games. This is going to be either fun or agonizing or somewhere in between.
Probably
both.
Let's hope it's both. I mean, not hope it's both, but it's going to be both. We're ready for both. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like the video if you haven't already. Shout out to my grandpa who's watching for the first time. Hi. Good to see you. Really appreciate all y'all. Let's keep the vibes going. Okay, let's go win the series in Houston over the weekend, and then we'll be excited on Monday. All right, Chris Crawford, last word.
Go Mariners.